Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the season finale of the BMW Race Driver Series Season 2. We are doing it at none other than the Mount Panorama circuit here in Bathurst and iRacing. We have 60 minutes of racing ahead of us, a mini enduro of sorts, if you will, and they're going to need to make a pit stop. So a lot of different strategy in today's race, and we've seen so far this season. And there's a championship to be decided. Just 8 points between Sabo in second and Rawlinson at the top. There can only be one winner, and we will find out who that is tonight live on the Global SimRacing Channel. My name is Ryan Jones. Alongside me, as always, Oshin Bahaka and Joe Peak is behind the scenes using the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. And for those of us who somehow don't know the Mount Panorama circuit, let's strap in, dive down, and take a look at it with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Mount Panorama Circuit. Most drivers simply refer to this place as Bathurst, with it being located just to the southwest of the city's major hub. But most ominously, and perhaps appropriately, it's been nicknamed the Mountain. With more than 500 feet of elevation change over the course of a lap, it's easy to understand why. Though originally built for racing, it's become a street circuit over time, with the track itself used for regular traffic and featuring residential housing all along the roads. This makes this 4-mile, 23-turn course incredibly unique in the world of racing. In the past, the track has hosted a variety of types of cars, including open-wheelers. But modern safety standards means that most competitive racing has now been limited to sports cars and touring cars. However, the dangers are very real due to the incredibly high speeds and lack of runoff throughout much of the circuit. The quickest parts are the run up the mountain straight towards Griffin's Bend, and then the flat-out blast back down the Conrad Straight and into the chase. This chicane was added in the late 80s to break up the run down to Murray's Corner. But while most chicanes are derided for ruining the character of a track, the terrifying speed as you approach it and the general difficulty make it fit right in with Bathurst challenges. However, the toughest portions are undoubtedly along the mountain itself, with notorious corners like the Cutting, Brock Skyline, the Dipper, and Forest Elbow. In fact, one of the more unique worries of this course is that all of these parts are so narrow that track blockages due to wrecks are not uncommon in the first few laps. The Australian fans often line the fences and hillsides to witness the daredevil spectacle of drivers trying to claim King of the Mountain. You can't blame them with how rare of a sight a track like Bathurst is today.
Well, that's a look at the circuit, but how do you get around it in this? The BMW M8 GTE, it's got traction control, it's got an uber amount of grip. It's pretty fun for a high-speed track such as this, ain't it, Aussie?
Yeah, it can be. It can be, Ryan, and it's a far less terrifying experience than with the, say, the more native cars that go around here, or indeed with open wheelers. Now, that can be quite something. But with a GT car, it's just a matter of keep it out of the wall, as with anything else. You have more grip, as you mentioned, and you have to use that grip as well. You have to be brave enough to use that grip. You have to know this track very well to utilize the advantage. But it's all about, keeping it between lines, keeping it neat and tidy, and not being too afraid, because it's the fear that's the mind killer.
It certainly is. And talking of ultimate lap pace, the race lap record at this track is a 2-minute 1.567, set by Shane Van Gisbergen in a McLaren 650S GT3. That was in 2016 at the Bathurst 12 Hour. Well, Van Gisbergen's currently fastest here in his BMW GTE with a 158.301, which is, I think, marginally quicker. Yep, well, a second quicker than the outright lap record, which was set by Christopher Meets in an Audi R8 in 2018. But that wasn't in a race, so that race record still sits with this man. But you're not racing, they're smashing those times.
Yeah, that's what they are doing. Going sub 2 minutes, 158.3 on the board. But the thing is, you can, of course, go... sometimes you have some lap time differences between iRacing. And also, these are GDE cars instead of GD3 cars. So that could explain it.
Yeah, there's no terrifying consequence of getting it wrong. A across the mountain on iRacing like there is in real life. Slipstream down Conrod Straight and down Mountain Straight as well could be pretty advantageous throughout qualifying here, and Henry Thomas Kircher will be hoping to use that to his advantage. Right in behind SVG. Into the chase, Van Gisbergen is going to let him go, and that's going to give Henry Thomas Kircher a straight shoot into the braking zone. He's currently sat 5th in this session with a 2-minute .171. So just shy of 3 seconds away from Van Gisbergen, who is a second clear of the field, much like he was last week, which doesn't really come as much as a surprise. Kircher crosses the line with a 2-minute .5, so can't find an improvement on that lap.
No, he can't. He was a little bit out of shape coming into the braking zone to the chase, and that would do it. Well, that would do the 0.4 of a second, but that would do some of it. So couldn't quite get the optimal lap time down, but you know, he still got his chances. We still have 9 minutes left in the session. You mentioned earlier about real life in Bathurst and Mount Panorama, and you know, something about not having fear. I wonder if they do the jump in real life.
Fabian Coulthard tried it on lap 1 in, I can't remember the year, but it was quite a few years ago now. Got it wrong. Got it very wrong.
Oh, did he? I'm not surprised. Somehow, I'm not surprised.
He wasn't trying the jump, but he clipped the grass on entry to the chase and went for about a half a dozen rolls down there on the sand trap. No, you can't do the jump in real life. It would be interesting. Maybe the Stadium Superchargers could come visit. I reckon they could give it a shot. Here's Cam Cairns. Doesn't have a lap in the session yet. Is he about to change that with his second effort? Yes, he is. 2:05.2.
Remember last week when I said something about Cam Cairns? Look at that car.
Someone's been watching our broadcast. Good stuff, Cam. That's what we like to see.
This is the second worst thing somebody has done to a paint job since somebody put Joe's, mine, and another guy's face in PRL GDE series. This is the second worst thing. But anyway,
this is the final round because you might have just given someone an idea. I love that scheme. I don't love that line from Royce Rollinson there out of this penultimate quarter.
Yeah, that's not ideal, but I think he's just trying to get it set up for a good lap here. Starting one right now in that 105 car. Let's see, coming across the line, and yeah, that's not even a lap time. Getting it a little bit wrong, and into the hell corner, turn number 1 with its lovely name given by motorcyclists, I believe, to that particular place, 90-degree left-hander, and not getting it quite right. So here's one of our championship combatants, Antal Rafal Sabo. He's 8 points behind the leader as they come to the final round. Ryan, we talked before the race briefly about who is our championship favorite. And,
yeah, we did.
Well, I never got your answer.
No, we didn't. You know what? Let's quickly bring up our championship points for you. Because it is incredibly tight, and it is Gian Rollinson that has an 8-point advantage over Sabo. The rest of the field there, quite a long way away. There's a fight between Cockerdon and Royce Rollinson for third as well. But that top 2, it's basically winner takes all today between those. Whoever finishes ahead of the other will, you know, come out champion.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, you know, a straight fight, you know, between those two guys, and yeah, winner takes it all. Standing small and all those outdated references. Why am I constantly referencing a time before I was born? Anyway, here's Shane Van Gisbergen, who nobody can touch currently. He's 1.1 seconds ahead of Andrew Wade. And then you got Sabo, and then you got Gibson. And those are the 4 drivers currently under the 2-minute mark, with Cockerton actually 6 1,000ths of a second above it. So, well, he would want quite something, but let's enjoy this on-board ride with SVG, because I've heard rumors, Ryan, and you mentioned some of them already, that he is quite good around this place.
Yeah, he's not bad. And you can see his commitment as he dances in between the concrete canyon down the hill and hooks that left at Forest Elbow so beautifully and gets the power down up onto Conrod, the exit from Forest Elbow. That and a held corner, the two most critical exits on the racetrack because they lead onto these long straights and you can throw away your lap with a poor run down them, or rather up here at Conrod Straight. And then the fastest corner in Australian motorsport, as a well-known Australian commentator would love to say. You tip it through, get it slowed down, try to nail your exit from there as well, because you can gain or lose a fraction of a second on the run to Murray's Corner. And Van Gisbergen, they're going to practice this pit entry, which is quite difficult at this track. There's a little chicane down there in the pit entry, and a couple of tyre bundles that encroach as you dive in as well. Here's Mark Gibson, coming just where Shane Van Gisbergen peeled off, into Murray's Corner. His last lap was his fastest, so I doubt he's going to improve on this lap as well. He's done a cool-down lap here, actually, and he's gearing up to go again with 4 minutes remaining.
Yeah, he is, and he's just 200ths of a second away from Sabo, and that would take him to P number 3, which is crucial because he'd be starting behind SBG on the inside line instead of the outside line, and that's very important when we are talking about rolling starts. Here's Taylor. Let's see what he can do. And as we mentioned, just a couple of milliseconds off the 2-minute mark, and wouldn't he quite love to go under it? Let's see, can he do it here, coming across the line, and not quite 1.5 tenths over. You know how it's weird, Ryan, that whenever you're chasing a benchmark, be it like exactly 2 minutes or an exact minute or something, and you're getting closer and closer and closer, and it feels so difficult. But once you do it, you can suddenly go like 2 or 3 tenths under it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you chase, and then it takes something, a little bit extra you haven't found. Once you find it, you can unlock just that last little bit, and then suddenly everything seems to come at you just a little bit easier as Nicholas Lowndes winds up for another flying lap. He'll get another lap in after this, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, but doing 2 fast laps in a row is very difficult here. As he heads down Mountain Straight, he's got a couple cars just ahead of him on this straight as well. On the other side of the racetrack, that's Gene Rollinson, currently 7th, 4 places behind Sabo, which means if they finish like this, he would probably lose the championship. So he'll be looking to qualify a little bit higher up. Plenty of drama in the mid-pack at Mount Panorama, as always. They have unlimited fast repairs today, so it won't quite be race ending if you get caught up in chaos, but tow back to pit lane will put you a lap down, so you've got to make sure that you keep your car clean as he comes out of the last corner. It's a 2-minute point 1, fractionally quicker, finds 1 spot, goes up into the 3rd row of the grid.
Just by 0.02 of a second from Henry Thomas Kircher. So that's quite something, and that's a lap abandoned for Gene Rollinson as well. Couldn't get the grip down in turn number 1. So very interesting. Paul Blomqvist here. He is surprisingly far down, I must say. He's only 13th right now. So, you know, he's going to have to find something in his car. Here's Cockerton trying to chase the 2-minute mark. Doesn't get it. Still has time for 1 more lap. So, very, very interesting times. SVG starting his last one as well.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I thought it was a 1:57.9, but it was a 2-minute 57.9. It was that much slower.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking what that was.
I saw the 57 before I saw the 2. So that was an extreme cooldown lap or a warm-up lap for him. So he's going to get here. Nicholas Lowndes in 8th. If he can find half a second, you'll find about 2 or 3 spots, depending on exactly how close to half a second he goes. They're very tight. The 5th, 6th, and 7th ahead of him in 8th. Into the last corner. What can he do? Across the line. It doesn't count. He's got 1 more chance if he can go fast 2 laps in a row. Matthew Giantini. The Giantinis have multiplied today. There's also an Aaron Giantini running around on the circuit. Matthew slides it into pit lane, and he will start no higher than 9th. And Mark Gibson going to finish off this lap, just squeak to the line in time to begin another attempt. It's not going to be an improvement for him on that one. It's a second slower than his previous best. 2 seconds left. Checkered flag is out. Drivers now all on their final attempts, starting with Paul Blomqvist.
Yeah, a lot of guys dribbling over the line, getting to our last laps in qualifying at Bathurst. Always so important because it's the measurement of your ultimate speed. Blomqvist getting a little bit out of shape on the last corner, but does manage to improve by a fair bit. Gets himself up 3 places, but this is what I'm interested in. The man behind Royce Rollinson right now, that's SBG. Let's see what Royce does. Well, he's not gonna improve. So let's see SBG, what he can do coming across the line, getting a bit of traffic tow. And 158. Oh, that would have been a 57. I'd say that would have been a 57, Ryan.
He was just a fraction away, 16 thousandths of a second. Nicholas Lowndes in 8th. He's out. He's out of the throttle, so he won't improve. In fact, I think he's found the fence. Look at that front left. It is looking rather second-hand. Is anyone else on a lap? No one else is on a lap, which means that is your grid. Before we go through it, let's thank the people that make all of this possible. The big team at Express Hydraulics, who import and stock a wide range of hydraulic accessories so that you can get what you want when you want it. And Griffin Excavations as well, who provide you with a professional and experienced digger operator ready to help you with general earthworks, landscaping, drilling, trenching, driveways, and site clearing. You can get your company as well involved with the Global SimRacing Channel with over 1 million impressions each month. It is a great opportunity to get your brand seen by a broad audience. Just head to the link in the description to find out more about that. And let's take a look at our starting grid then. For 1 hour here at Mount Panorama, it is Shane Van Gisbergen on the pole with a 1 minute 58.016. He is 1.4 seconds quicker than Andrew Waite, who will start in second. Enter Rafael Sabo, picks up third. He love Mark Gibson on his outside. Tether Cockett and Gene Ronson will start from 5th and 6th. Henry Thomas Kircher and Nicholas Lowndes are on the 4th row of the grid together. Matthew Giantini and Paul Blomqvist round out the top 10.
Todd Gibson gonna be starting 11th. He's got Matthew Griffin alongside him. Joshua Andrews starting 13th with Aaron Gintini 14th. Stephen Barker, Jonathan Shepley 15th, 16th. Douglas Bickley, Cam Cairns 17th, 18th. And Royce Rollinson rounding out your 19 driver field. And by the way, do not adjust your sets, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan, because you said 1 hour race here at Bathurst, and it's not gonna be the usual 25 plus 25 minute sprint race plus sprint racing. It's going to be a little bit different for our final round of the championship.
Yeah, our race details for today. It is 60 minutes as opposed to 2x25. It is open setup. It was an open qualifying session. That's done. They have an incident limit in place. They're going to receive a drive-through every 20 incidents. Well, at 20 incidents, the Linda disqualified at 30. Going to be tough to get to that number today, but with unlimited fast repairs, who knows? You could just get that unlucky. Going to be a short formation lap here at the mountain.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be, and sometimes people say the only off-tracks you get at Mount Panorama are at the pit entry. Let's see if that's going to be the case today. You can get one at Chase, I suppose. But usually if you go off the track here, Ryan, it's not going to be your pleasant, oh, I'm just going to hop a bit of tarmac, or at most, I'm going to touch a bit of grass. No, it's I'm going to slap that concrete wall, and that's not healthy.
Yeah, you get it wrong here. You're getting it really wrong very quickly. You can get away with it down here at the Chase, but it's very high speed. You're going a long way off the road. Murray's Corner and Hell Corner, there's very little runoff. Everywhere else is just concrete. It is a street circuit. It is a tourist drive, this circuit. That's how it was first developed, with the intention of always being a racetrack, mind you. So you can drive these roads when there's no racing happening. It's often described as Mount Panorama and all that. You don't often hear it called a street circuit, but it is what it is. A street circuit, just not in the dense streets of the city as we roll off behind the iRacing.com. Porsche pace car getting ready for the green. Gonna need to make a pit stop in this race as well at some point. So look out for a bit of pit strategy to play a part over the course of this one. Do you pit early or do you pit late? Track position is going to be key. It can be hard to pass here, but you also don't want to bury yourself in the pack with an early stop and find yourself coming up on slower cars. It is Van Gisbergen on the pole. It is a Mini Motorsport 1-2. Andrew Waite to his outside. Pace cars off the road. Van Gisbergen through the last corner. Gets on the throttle. And at Mount Panorama, it is green flag in the air. We are racing for the final time in Season 2 of the BMW Race Driver E-Series. And Sabo immediately on the offensive, up into second place. Gets by Andrew Waite at Hell Corner.
Everybody through cleanly into turn number 1 as well. Going on to the first time, onto those long straights. Up the hill they come, in a long line. This is a place where they so often have accidents, and so far so good for these guys. So very close between Sabo and Andrew Waite. Sabo muscling his way through, Ryan. That's pretty strong challenge from our championship contender.
Yeah, Andrew Waite was right up behind him. And Sabo's bowled it wide at the cutting. That's going to cost him both to Andrew Waite and Mark Gibson. They'll go by and Sabo falls to 4th. So that early progress he found goes missing. He's got Cochran behind him and then Gene Rollinson, who leads the championship. It'll be very tight if this is how they finished. Down the hill for the first time already, a handy margin for Van Gisbergen. Cold tyres still a little bit at the moment. Got to be careful to skate wide and into the barriers. Trying to brake, slow the car, and turn at the same time. There's an issue for Taylor Cochran, and he lost it into Forest Elbow. Saw it, there it is. And he is stranded now, waiting for the field to go by. Looks like, somehow, only the one car involved.
That's about the only place in lap number 1, in the mountain section at least, in lap number 1, where somebody can have a spin and nobody can hit the car.
Whoa, Mark Gibson's going around. Watch out, Sabo. Watch out, Rollinson. He splits them both across the track, out of control. That is the second close call for Gene Rollinson on this lap, because Cochran spawned from in front of him as well. So Gene Rollinson's championships flashed in front of his eyes already twice on lap 1, which is completed with a 3.5 second lead for Shane Van Gisbergen over Andrew Waite. Sabo then 3rd, thanks to that Gibson error. Rollinson 4th. Championship contenders, line astern on the racetrack. A little bit of time between them, though. 1.3 seconds separating them. Yes, Sabo to the outside of Andrew Waite.
Yeah, there he tries into the cutting. Let's see if he can actually pull it off. And no, he can't, but gonna go for a crossover around the outside here. That's a very clever move. You don't often actually see that. I don't remember seeing it too often, but he does pull it off. And yes, does take that second place away, but look at how much that car wiggles. I mean, I'm very surprised. This is for the championship. And still, Sabo takes such high risks here on the opening laps, but it's paying off for him. He takes that second place back from Andrew Waite and puts a car between himself and Gene Rollinson, and that is so important, Ryan.
It is, and you might find that he needs to finish a car in front of Gene Rollinson, and that's why he's been so aggressive. As you look back to P6, down through the S's, Nicholas Lowndes has got Matthew Biantini right up his bumper. He could go for a move down at Forest Elbow. It's a place where you normally see some aggressive last gasp efforts towards the end of the race. Usually, though, you set yourself up for the good exit. One that Biantini did not get there, and Nicholas Lowndes most certainly got a little bit behind them. A good scrap as well, as Paul Blomqvist, who's had a problem on this lap, he's already dropped 4 or 5 spots. He's trying to cover off Shapley and Stephen Barker. He's covering both lanes, NASCAR style here. Barker gives him a shot into the chase. Onto the brakes. Oh, he gets a hit. Barker gets a hit, and both of them go around. Blomqvist and Barker are off at the chase into the gravel. Shapley's lost out to Gibson. And the chase proving troublesome already.
Yeah, that was never going to really work out for Shapley. So, we're going to see a replay of it. And might as well, because that's a very interesting situation. So Paul Blomqvist, as you pointed out, he had lost a couple of positions last time around, had a bit of a problem here, breaking himself wide into Forrest's elbow, and then losing a couple of spots, being already down on the straight line speed, and then he's just gonna get eaten up by the field as they come to the downhill, and that's where the problems start. Two cars right behind you, battling for positions. He's trying to fend them off, trying to tell them, "Look, guys, this is never gonna work out." And they are like, "Yeah, it is. Come on, let's race. It's lap 3 already. What are we waiting for?" And well, I think it started off with Shapley just trying to hold himself off and then hitting on the braking, hitting Baca on the braking, and sent Steven Barker right to the side of Paul Blomqvist, and that's all she wrote. So that was a situation that I wouldn't quite like to see again. That was one of those unfortunate situations, so to speak. I mean, a very small mistake leading into a major disaster for 3 drivers. Thankfully, not hitting the wall too hard for any of them, so it could be worse. Here, however, Todd Gibson and Joshua Andrew fighting their way for a 9th place.
Gave him a little nudge as he pulled out from behind him. Trying to go the long way round down here at the kink. Gives him the inside. Oh no, they touch. He turned in very tight. How on earth have they got away with that? Coming together at, about 270 kilometers an hour.
I don't know. I mean, you have a touch there, you're normally gone. I mean, you are absolutely gone. Somehow, they're not. That was very good, very close racing. Well, I say very good racing. Obviously, you don't want to hit each other ever. But somehow, that wasn't so bad. Todd Gibson on the inside, I must say, wasn't given much room. Here's Gene Rollinson making his way to the pit lane, and that is not a healthy-looking Beamer. That's a BMW modified. I think we talked about them last week.
Yeah, championship leader on pit road. Less than 10 minutes into the race. Has to grab a spare car. Uses a fast repair up. And I think getting some fuel as well. Maybe he'll try to go to the end from here. Can the car do that much here at the mountain? On one tank? Guess we're going to find out. He's just got rolling now, so he definitely took fuel.
Yeah, it was lap 2 on the last corner where he lost it, Gene Rollinson. And he lost it on the last corner, actually. He dropped a tire on the grass and then spun to the inside wall, in case somebody wondering what happened to him. And then he had to, because it was right after the pit entry, so he had to do a full lap with that broken car.
Alright, let's rewind back to lap 1. Dissect some of the drama we saw. It began with Taylor Cockerton down at Forest Elbow. He was running in 4th place at the time, just behind Sabo, just ahead of Rollinson, who escaped. Used up one of his 9 lives here, into Forest Elbow. Just lost it. He was still trying to get the car turned back to the right as he got the brakes, and that sent the car into a bit of a awkward pendulum motion and nosed him into the fence. And then Mark Gibson, his own issue, down at the chase in the braking zone. He was running 2nd at the time.
Yeah, you can see it here coming onto the chase.
Oh,
and just getting nudged to the rear. Yeah.
Sabo hit him.
Yeah, Sabo hit him. And then he just lost the rear and tried to wiggle it back around. Maybe should have hit the brakes there, to be honest. But, try to save it. Fair game. And, just... Yeah, I mean after the contact, not when you're on the grass. That's not doing much when you're on the grass. But yeah, I mean, good thing that he didn't hit anyone. That's the main thing, because that would have been terrible had he come across the track and hit somebody. That's always so scary of a situation in racing when somebody loses it on the grass and comes across the grass and just goes right shooting into somebody. So that's thankfully didn't have it there.
So back to live pictures. And Mark Gibson, after that spin, escaped damage from that. It was a little nudge from Sabo. That wouldn't have damaged his car. He didn't hit any fence or other car after that. So he's still got exactly what he started with. And he's using that now in 9th place. Trying to get by Joshua Andrew through McPhillamy. Don't do it. He's shaped for a look at Skyline, but that is 1 in a million. Getting a move cleanly done there. Better to just sit, wait, and launch off from Forest Elbow with an excellent move. I'd even rather take a lunge at Forest Elbow over a look at Skyline. He's dropped a bit of time going down the hill, but he should still be within range here. Slipstream's going to work out well in his favour. The big rear wing going to push the air up and over the nose of Mark Gibson, allowing him to suck up to the back. Look at that. Closing right up to him. You look to the left under the brakes. Andrew's going to cover it. Gibson has to go right. Around the outside. Just couldn't find the grip.
Wow, that was so close. And gonna look to the inside in the last corner as well. This is quite brave. Mark Gibson gonna just pull it off, Ryan. But into the hell corner, they're gonna go side by side.
Andrew grabbed the grass on the entry. He was lucky not to spin it out. How close was that? Through Murray's corner, and Andrew closes the door on Giantini. Turns down across the back bumper of Gibson to ensure he loses just the one spot instead of two. Fantastic exchange between Andrew and Mark Gibson there for P8.
That was great stuff at Mount Panorama. Really shows that you can race cleanly here, and you can go side by side as well. Usually doesn't last too long, but the downhill section, you know, you come to the chase, Morris corner, Hell corner, you can go side by side through there, and you can find ways to execute an overtake as well, as we just saw by Mark Gibson. Kudos to both drivers, Mark Gibson, Joshua Andrew, showing some great side by side racing, and here's Andrew into the wall and collects Aaron Guintini as well.
Up in Reed Park, facing the wrong way. Oh, he's just completely forgotten where he was on the racetrack there. Should have escaped much earlier. And someone has come along and clean bowled him. Here's the replay.
Yeah, so he's gonna hit the wall. Spoiler alert.
Clips the inside.
Yeah, clips the inside and nowhere to go. Man. Aaron Guintini, you
right
know...
here, he should have... Yeah.
He should have
When
pressed
he was rolling backwards there, I think. He should have... Well, he could have pressed escape. Maybe he thought he could keep going. If he did, he should have let the car roll back to the left, not back onto the racing line. Here we go. Right now, turn the wheel, right hand down. Right hand down. Right hand down! He gave up, and Shapley had nowhere to go.
Yeah, the thing what you need to do there, unless you are sideways, in which case escape immediately. But if you are kind of like, as Guintini is coming into the pit lane to repair his car, and what you should do is, hit the brakes first and foremost. That's what you want to do. Because if you spin out on iRacing, or indeed in real life, the last thing you want to do is be in motion as a very, very, very slow car. Because stationary object on the racetrack, that's bad, but that's at least predictable. The car's not going to move anywhere. It's going to be there. So you can kind of like get the information that, he's on the right-hand side, even with the limited line of sight there. But, when it's moving, you just never know. When somebody's rolling backwards, he can suddenly yank to the left, yank to the right, and you kind of second-guess yourself. So if you do have to make that instinctive avoiding action, then, you're gonna second guess yourself, and then it's gonna be too late.
Yeah, look, I don't think that matters too much there, because it's a blind corner, as it is. He wouldn't have known much about it before he even saw that car. In real life, they've implemented, for the Bathurst 12-hour, in-car caution lights. Oh, there's a mistake for, I think that's Shapley, it is. He was the one that collected him. In-car caution lights for the Bathurst 12-hour that alert the drivers when there's an incident across the top of the mountain. That followed a few gnarly incidents in preceding years where cars were completely unsighted and the flag posts at the side of the track weren't doing enough. But obviously in iRacing you've got a yellow flag that pops up on your screen. But in iRacing, we definitely stay in the throttle a lot more than we would in real life.
Yeah, that's what we do, and that's the issue sometimes with sim racing, is that people take unnecessary risks, and somehow every series has ARCA brakes. And Stephen Barker here, and just, he's not lifting at all. He's seeing the yellow, and he's not lifting at all. He's just seeing the car on the right-hand side, and on iRacing, that's, okay, fair enough. If he's seeing him, if he knows that he's on the right-hand side, then yeah, do it. But in real life, people would have braked. Cam Cairns and Steven Barker are going to have a great battle here coming into the last corner. And Arca brakes, by the way, in case somebody's wondering what I mean, I just realized we're doing a New Zealand series, so it might not be an obvious reference. It means basically not brake into the cautions at all. Coming from American oval racing, that term.
There's Cam Cairns letting, I think that's Steven Barker, go by him down at Hell Corner. Made that rather easy in the battle for P9. Here's the battle up the order for P4. Henry Thomas Kirch is having a good run today. He's +3 at the moment. But he's got Matthew Giantini, who's +4. Looking to make it +5 as they head down Skyline. A monumental drop-off when you come over the crest there. Does not do it justice here on iRacing. Down at the dipper there as well. A massive drop on the left front picks up off the ground as you turn through.
Yeah, here they come down the hill through Forest Elbow as well. Gintini, he's had a good race, He was a bit involved in a couple of incidents, not his fault at all. And his front end is a little bit damaged. Not too much, just a little tiny bit of damage. But it doesn't look to be hurting him too much right now, because he's running down Henry Thomas Kircher. And that would mean he's in 4th place if he does manage to get that. And Andrew Wade is still only 4 seconds away as well. So he's actually got a chance for a podium here. And that would be a great season final for Matthew Vintini. But of course, he must do a couple of overtakes and survive Mount Panorama first and foremost. 2 minutes and 7 last lap around for both of these guys. Ahead of them, Andrew Wade doing 2 minutes and 9. So they are catching. They are catching.
Should clarify. Not 2 minute 9 seconds, 2 minute 0.9, 2 minute 0.7. Yes. That would be quite the difference in pace. By the way, Van Gisbergen just hit a 59.5. He's gone. He has an 8.6 second lead, just past 25% race distance. Antal Rafael Sabo is that man in second place behind him, and Sabo at the moment has one hand on the championship trophy. If he finishes here, Giantini is at Matthew or Aaron is Matthew. Bang, bang. 2 more cars. Nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the situations when you're unsighted. And
that was
Matthew Griffin, just hitting the wall, basically.
Matthew Griffin and Mark Gibson had nowhere to go as they ran and cut the cutting and found a spread eagle Matthew Giantini across the middle of the racetrack. Just lost the rear on the turn-in. Spins the car into an awkward place. Got to do a 3-point turn to get it stopped, turn back around there. Nothing Giantini could do.
Yeah, but if we get to the onboard of Mark Gibson from that incident, no, we don't have it anymore. Gibson was behind Matthew Griffin. Gibson was actually cutting it to the inside. He was taking the normal racing line, and then he ended up running right to the driver's side door in his case. Even though we're racing in Australia, the driver's side is on the left because it's German cars, and that means driver's side door of Matthew Gintini. So they hit different spots actually, and he wasn't following Mark Gibson necessarily on where to try and avoid the stationary car of Matthew Gintini. So once again,
even though I know we drive on the right-hand side of the road, right-hand side of the car, I was sat in my rig just then as you said that, with my hands in front of me, so if I was on the steering wheel going, left, I get on the right. Yeah, right-hand side. I'm going to clarify to myself, what side of the car do I get in to drive? Into pit road comes all 3 of those cars then. Matthew Griffin, Mark Gibson, and Matthew Giantini all looking to grab a spare car. That will probably elevate Gene Rollinson up a few spots. He's coming through the chase now. Although, actually, no, they should take fuel like he did, which means, yeah, they'll be behind him. I was just thinking if they don't take fuel, they'll be ahead, but that would seem like a big misplay.
Yeah, at this point, you might as well make the best out of a bad situation. If you have to come to the pit lane, take the faster tire, but take the fuel as well. And then you can run to the end. And you can at least, not have to make another pit stop later on. Here comes Matthew Griffin back to the track. He's a couple of seconds behind Gene Rollinson, who in turn is actually a second behind Royce. So Royce Rollinson, Gene Rollinson currently sitting in, I believe it would be 8th and 9th, if my math is correct. No, 9th and 10th. I was close.
It is 8th and 9th, Ozzy. You were right the first time.
I can't see the numbers on the screen on the right-hand side because they're so small. I need better glasses.
Yeah, this sounds like an excuse. I don't think Royce is going to make this too difficult for Gene here. He'll know that Gene is already on the back foot in his championship defense. He won Season 1. Don't forget. Oh no, Sabo. I reckon he's locked it. That was the runoff for the last corner. I reckon he's locked it up, run wide, and then had to do a flick spin and maybe stalled the car because he was stationary when we picked him up. So through the chase, nice and cleanly, all by himself at the time. He's still in second, by the way. He was that far ahead of third. Grabs the grass.
Yeah, that's clean as a day, and good thing he noticed it early, was able to, okay, I touched the grass, I lost it. Just lock the brakes and, just basically have a bit of a different entry onto the main straight. It could have been so much worse. It could have been so much worse for Anton Rafael Sabo. Here is Royce, and he's now behind Gene.
Yep. Didn't make it easy. Didn't make it hard at all. Well, I do think Gene got held up just a fraction down the mountain. They were very close to making contact. And Royce immediately comes to pit road to get service of his car. Stephen Barker is also on the lane.
Oh, and Gibson's around into the last corner as well. Did somebody spill oil into that last corner? What's going on there?
Well, Sabo touched the grass, so no. And Mark Gibson probably grabbed the grass as well. Yes, he did.
Oh,
it's so easy. Oh, no, actually, no. Gibson did not touch the grass.
Let's see it here. Coming under the last corner, so he's not close to the grass. He's just, yeah, he's just going in too fast, basically, with cold tires, I suppose, because he was just on the pit lane. So just coming in too fast on the last corner and, spinning around. Very close to what happened to Anton Rafael Sabo.
Grass or no grass, it was nearly identical the way they spun, gathered it up, and kept going. No damage to either car, living to fight another day. Just 10 cars left on the lead lap, courtesy a little bit because of the early stops that a lot of those guys a couple laps down have gone through, as Aaron Gantini's just had a shunt up at the cutting. He's just going to keep it going, but that car did about a 360.5.
So a 540.
In the braking zone. Yeah, thank you. Ozzy, a 540.
No worries. I'm a veteran of the Tony Hawk series.
Oh, of course. I was thinking, there's no way he's actually got numbers in his head. He's not a math person. It's got to be a reason, and it was Tony Hawk. That was Royce slicing by Stephen Barker, who had a wiggle on the brakes.
Yeah, so Barker was just out of the pit lane. He stop just now, I think. Yeah, because Royce wouldn't otherwise be right behind him.
They were both.
So Stephen Barker had a bit of a wiggle for Stephen. Here we're gonna see it, and then Royce is gonna say, "Here, thank you very much." And that's a place you often see drivers making mistakes. You see it in this race, and you see it elsewhere. And guess what, Ryan? We're getting a bonus battle down the hill. With Royce and Stephen Barker. Stephen Barker is going to be on the outside, and Royce is going to be on the inside, while Stephen's going to be on the inside onto the kink and 10 to the chase. He's going to have the outside line, but he's going to make it nice and clean through already before that. So, Stephen Barker takes back the position from Royce Rollinson, but I got a feeling we got 36 minutes on the clock. These guys might be right with each other all the way through. As Anton Rafael Sabo in the background, you can see him. He's coming to the pit lane, and he's coming to the pit lane hot. Wow! Can I make a request? Get a replay of Sabo's pit entry. Because that was, I mean, normally I don't want replays of pit entries, but Ryan, this was quite on the limit.
Yeah, you might hear the pit entry siren as well in a minute, which I'll touch further on in a second as he dives in. It looks very late, actually. Squirms over the chicane, fires it through the tires, and pulls up perfectly. Now, that pit entry siren, as an Australian motorsport fans would know, that's not really a thing, is it? At Mount Panorama. What we do have is dozens of marshals with whistles all up and down the pit lane. So we're all petitioning to get that added into the service, hopefully soon.
That reminds me of rallying, actually. That's how we do it here. I don't think we have sirens in Finland either. What we do is have a lot of people with whistles. No bells and whistles, just whistles. And we do that in rallying as well. You can hear a marshal, sounding a whistle on the popular viewing spots to signal that a car is coming. And then aside from the marshals, that's basically their job, with, the spectators being the additional stewards pulling cars out of the ditches and whatnot. But people do a lot of their own marshalling, but yeah, sirens, not a thing on every circuit around the world.
Van Gisbergen comes into pit lane, and I wonder if that signifies... No, it can't do. He comes into pit lane. I was going to say, I wonder if that signifies the end of the fuel window, and then I realised there's still over half the race to go, so that would just not work at all. So he comes in, he's wanting to pit just a little bit before halfway, and he'll probably emerge still in 4th place. Actually, make that 3rd, make that 2nd. No, he'll still emerge in the lead of the race. Because... Oh, he's gone past his pit bay. Because Sabo's already pitted. Waits in pit lane now as well. And Kircher pitted on the previous lap. So, yeah. Interesting. Everyone's pitted before we've gotten to halfway. Now, is it a 2-stop race? Does that mean?
Yeah, it just might be, you would want to save a little bit of fuel. I thought Shane would have had the perfect opportunity to do just that, and Sabo and a couple of other guys as well on the clean air, they could have maybe saved 1 lap of fuel, but I don't know. If it's a 2-stop race, then it just might get a little bit interesting. But if they're coming in this early, I know it's gonna be a 2-stopper for a couple of other guys, and yeah, that was Shane changing tires.
Sabo's jumped Van Gisbergen, who's, as you said, took tires down on pit road. That means that Andrew Waite has jumped him as well. Still imagine Van Gisbergen will lead by the time the next interruption comes, whether that be a 2nd stop or the race win. Now, slight update. Those championship points are not accurate that we showed at the start. So, someone behind the scenes didn't update that, which means it is not an 8-point gap. I do know that it is 300 points for the win here today. It's a double-point round at Bathurst. So, even if the gap is 150, Sabo was to finish 3rd or even 2nd. Rollinson finished outside the top 5. Every chance of him still in the championship. Or vice versa, because, of course, Sabo could be ahead. But I'll keep working on finding those updated points for you.
Yeah, you can do that. And we'll keep you updated here on Global SimRacing Channel. As Sabo, Rafael Sabo, is now leading this race, as unbelievable as that would have sounded a couple of laps ago with Shane Van Gisbergen making the decision to change his tires halfway through. And that might not be a bad decision, honestly, because some people might be wondering, why are you changing tires in a 1-hour race? But he had such a lead, and he has the pace to get it back. And if I'm being honest, Ryan, I think he wants to do some racing. I think Shane wants to race. He's been all by himself for half an hour. And he was so lonely out there in the front. I was thinking, someone give this man a hug.
That was a replay of, Mark Gibson's. That was Mark Gibson spinning it down at the cutting. Or up at the cutting, I should say. Van Gisbergen, looking to do some racing. That man looking to stay out of the fence. SVG will be in action at this place in 2 weeks' time as well. For the Bathurst 1000. Getting his eye in early as well. Keeping himself in the groove, the mountain. This was scanned back in, I think it was about 2014 actually, when we scanned this track. So it's pretty accurate. Right before they repaved it, actually, so no, should be 20...
Something. 20-something.
Yeah, I remember the race after they repaved it. There was a red flag in the middle of the 1000 because the track was tearing up down at turn 2.
I hate when that happens. You know, when you're coming into a corner and suddenly there is no track. The track just decides to, you know, I'm not there anymore. I know what you mean, though. And is that an issue even in Australian motorsport? Because I know that's a big issue up here when we actually get winters. And during winter time, you would, well, winter does terrible things to tarmac. So people have to, you know, patch and repair tracks pretty much every other year. But I'm actually surprised to find that it happens in Australia too. Or is it just because the previous surface was something like 70 years old or 60 years old?
The circuit was fully resurfaced over the 2013-2014 summer. So it was 2014 the track broke up. So this scan is from about 2013 then, Aussie.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, you know, it's not that old, and it's quite accurate. We know what kind of a job iRacing does in general with these tracks to make them as close as possible. Well, pretty much one-to-one laser scan accurate to real life, all the way down to the little bumps you find, little patches of tarmac, little curves, and so on. And that's why drivers such as he is use it for practice. Here runs Gisbergen, and he doesn't need no practice around here. He puts the fastest lap and he goes to the outside.
And that should be moved on. Andrew Waite will fight it at Griffin's Bend. No, he won't. Van Gisbergen reclaims P2. He's 8 seconds back of Antal Rafael Sabo. Wonder how quickly that will get run down.
I'm going to say 7 laps.
Here's Taylor Cockerdon in 9th place. He's got Giuntini right in behind him. That's Aaron Giuntini, making, I think, his debut in the series today. For this season, I can't account for last season. And Cockerdon's actually just taken that spot away on that previous lap. So he'll try to extend that gap over the course of the next 6 or so kilometers, so that Giuntini can't fight back down at the chase. 27 minutes remaining in this one. If we are looking at a race that needs 2 stops, based off everyone pitting before halfway, you would expect Gene Rollinson would need to come back to pit road in the next couple of minutes, because he pitted 7 minutes into this race. Van Gisbergen pitted 26 minutes in.
Yeah, so it's not going to be long anymore for him. And he's still going to make it on a 2-stop just about.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, I was just about to say a great battle, but then I noticed it was a lapped car. So, you know, never mind. That's something that happens around here frequently when people are lapping one another. And this is not between a lapped car. This is actually for position 11th place between Stephen Barker and Cam Cairns. They're soon gonna come pretty close to each other, with Barker 2 seconds a lap slower.
What Rollinson will do is answer our question if it is a 2-stop. Because if he stays out, then they can also do it in 1. Yeah. If he stays out for more than 30 minutes, then they can do it in 1 stop. As through the dipper.
And down the hill they will come soon enough. So when you're 2 seconds a lap faster, and Stephen Barker locking up his brakes pretty badly there. That's not what you want to do heading into Forest's elbow, but thankfully he at least managed to keep it off the wall. That could have been so much worse. So Cam Cairns had just pitted on lap 13. Stephen Barker, his pit stop is from lap number 11. That's quite interesting. And Cam is gonna catch him up pretty soon here. And I mean, I say it should be a slam dunk, Ryan, but is there such thing as a slam dunk around here?
Nope. And the race winner is never assured either. Van Gisbergen knows that as well as anyone here. Because if you rewind the clock a few years in the land of supercars racing, Shane Van Gisbergen had the ultimate heartbreak. Because he was winning and looking comfortable in his Techno Autosport car. In 2009, this was. He pitted on lap 108. The car then refused to refire, and he lost the race.
He is quite an unlucky chap, by the sounds of things. I mean, what is happening to SVG? The different things that he's been through. Racing drivers have their share of good and bad luck always, but that sounds quite terrible, honestly. And I suppose it was to follow, but from what I've gathered, I'm not an avid follower of Australian motorsport, mind you. I just, it's a different part of the world. I do try to watch it and turn turabouts, as we just saw Steven Barker getting very hairy around the mountain section through the clipper, and there we go. He goes around. He was hair to the deeper, I was just about to say, and for his elbow, he goes around and gives up the position to Cam Cairns, and I suppose that kind of was a slam.
Just got it a little bit wrong. He's just slightly wide through the dipper, and that's why he nails the fence on the right. And then that probably unsettles the car as he heads down towards Forrest's elbow, and it spins around on him. You won't believe this. Championship fight between Sabo and Rawlinson heading into Bathurst. We rechecked the math. They are level on points.
Tied on points.
Yep.
After 9 rounds of racing.
Yep.
With 2 starts in each round.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that's crazy.
All between them. Winner takes all. 300 points for a win, 294 for second, 28 for third, 6 points. They're on back for the rest of the field. But that doesn't matter, because whoever finishes first win the championship fight. Right now, Sabo is first in the race, and Gene Rawlinson is all the way back in 5th. Only hope for Gene at this point would be a mistake from Sabo or a competition caution, which we've seen a few times this season. Van Gisbergen is absolutely flying up to the back of Sabo, though. A 58.4 last time by, a 59.7 for Sabo. There's the lap time comparison. The time that Sabo has lost. Lap 14, the outlier, where he gained 69 seconds, was when Van Gisbergen pitted.
Nice. I'm sorry. I absolutely had to. I have the mind of a 12-year-old. Anyway, here you can see Shane chasing, and this is just great seeing him rocketing around. And I wonder, somebody might be wondering, well, what's the hurry? He's still got 22 minutes left. He's on fresh set of rubber. Mind you, Shane had led this race from start to all the way to the pit stop cycle. Then, for some reason that beggars belief, he took tires during the pit stop. And of course, with GDE rule set in place, taking the tires happens after your refueling is completed. So, they have to take them separately. You can't refuel and take tires at the same time. That means Shane, he lost around 25 seconds during his pit stop of extra time that he will not get back. And now, as a result of that, he dropped to 3rd place, passed Andrew Wade a couple of laps ago, and he's 3.5 seconds behind Antal Rafal Sabo. And now he's trying to catch that up, trying to chase him down, trying to do that SVG magic that you so often talk about, Ryan, once more. And I do have a request, actually, because I'm not seeing anything too close on the track right now. Once he gets up that hill, the car number 97, let's jump on board and go for a lap with Shane Van Gisbergen and see how it's really done.
Well, if there's one man to go on board with, it is the race lap record holder, who's just on the fastest lap of this race as well. A 58.297 on the previous lap. Cuts the margin in half again. It was 2 seconds quicker than Sabo's effort. He might catch him on this lap, actually.
Yeah, he just might. 58.2. Okay, 58.3. Let's be fair enough. I mean, let's round it up at least. And Sabo actually had a bit of a mistake there. Up the hill. No, he didn't. That was a previous car. Somebody locked up the brakes at the hill. Can't guarantee it would have been who was ahead of them or somebody in between. Either way, Shane here coming down the dipper, and just look at this. Look at how close he gets to the wall. You're turning in blind and the front end gets loose, and there's nothing you can do after you turn in there. You're just basically aiming and then firing right into the corner, and there's nothing between that BMW M8 and the Wallster. Absolutely nada. And as a result of that, he can see his target now. He is chasing him down. And I wonder, Ryan, is Antal Rafael Sabo hearing boss music right now?
There we go. 1.3 seconds. The gap. He is in some of the grass on the exit of the chase, using every little bit of the roads he can find, and then some. Under 20 minutes left to go. Is there any defense that Sabo can put up that keeps the fastest driver in this race behind him?
Well, you know, what he can do is try and, you know, take the inside line here heading into turn 2. You can take the inside line. It's going to be very difficult to pass around the outside, especially if you don't leave enough room for a crossover move. And then, you know, up the hill, you can't really pass on the mountain. What he can do is pass down the hill, down for a elbow. But if Antar Rafael Sabo decides to be, you know, tricky about this, then you have a couple of tricks for defense, because it's actually quite difficult to overtake around here. Especially if he can somehow mitigate or screw up Shane's exit down the hill, then yes, he can defend. However, when it comes to championship, I don't think Sabo is gonna fight this too hard, because he's 30 seconds ahead of this championship rival. He doesn't need to win this race. He wants to win this race. That's what you're driving for. You are a racing driver, you drive for the race wins. That's absolutely the thing you're doing, but he does not need to. All he needs to do, mind you, is finish ahead of Gene Rollinson to clinch his championship. Okay, let's see what SVG does here.
I'll put this to you. The allure of Bathurst, certainly in Australia and New Zealand, is like no other. Everyone wants to win here. Sabo, does that overcome his championship ambitions? He doesn't cover, but then Gisbergen doesn't go for it either. Championship or race win? What is more important at Bathurst today for Sabo? That's a question many were thinking was going to have to be answered in the Supercars Bathurst 1000 in a couple of weeks' time. But McLaughlin wrapped that one up. So that's not going to be an equation. We are going to see it now. Into turn 1, Van Gisbergen gets close. Shows the nose. Up the inside. Sabo turns in. And a poor exit for Van Gisbergen as a result.
Yeah, so you can see SPG is being quite careful with this. I suppose he's gonna have to be, you know, aware of the situation, that this is for the championship. This is a championship fight, that, you know, he is faster. He knows that. He's been catching him up. He saw the qualifying times, of course, running away from the field, but he doesn't want to take Antar Rafael Sabo out. So he doesn't want to, you know, be that guy that's so fast that he doesn't have to care about the championship. And that's fair play to SPG. That's just goes to show what a great attitude he has towards racing. Because sometimes you see people come into sim racing and thinking, you know, maybe it's a bit of a game. Maybe it's you know, it's something I don't have to care about too much. But these guys care. These guys actually care about sim racing, and it's great to see that they're not only using it as a practice tool, but having fun racing each other and still taking it seriously enough to, you know, be competitive and obey the rules. And that's a great thing. And it's why this BMW NZ race driver season has been such a great thing to follow. And okay, SPG is going to have a chance here once more.
There's damage to the front right of both of these cars, by the way. A bit on the front left as well of Van Gisbergen's car. So they've both used up the fence a little bit around this road. He looks to the inside, do the kink, 275 kilometers an hour on the curb as well. But Sabo on the inside, supremacy on the brakes for him, goes a little bit too deep, just pulls it up, just able to block off Van Gisbergen's cutback. And now he's going to look the long way around at Bathurst, a place where winners eluded him for so many years in the great race. Now he's going to do it. Up the inside at turn 1. This should be the move that puts Shane Van Gisbergen back in the lead. And it is. But what about that cutback from Sabo? That was glorious.
That is, and I think he's going to retain it up the hill. That was excellent calculation from Antal Rafael Sabo. He was not going quietly into the night.
He's got to cover off the inside. Van Gisbergen's going to fight back. You don't want to be on the outside for Griffin's Bend. He's not going to be because he threw it in on the brakes. What a fantastic fight. And Sabo's answered our question. Bathurst over championship. Almost a look at the cutting.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to as well, Ryan. You know, Bathurst over cutting. We got the answer to the question, which is more important, and I totally get it. You know, from a rational standpoint, take the championship. But if you listen to your heart, as a racing driver, you want to win, and you want to win at Bathurst. Because, I mean, I can't say this sincerely because I'm not from there, but I can imagine to you guys, it must be from folks down under, it must be what winning at an Neste Rally Finland means to us as a rally driver, or winning at Monte Carlo, or winning Nürburgring means to endurance drivers, or Le Mans, or indeed win the Monaco Grand Prix means to Formula 1 drivers, winning Daytona for NASCAR drivers. And winning Indy. Yeah, I know.
Okay,
it's a long list. It's a long list.
Yeah, it's a long list. And doing it against this man as well. That is bragging rights in itself. He's got a much better run this time into the kink, but they're still alongside. They almost touch again. It's like it was last lap. This time Sabo goes deep again, but Van Gisbergen is able to cut back. And now it's role reversal into the final corner. Van Gisbergen inside, Sabo outside. Can he keep the car there? He's going for the cutback. He's going to get it. And Van Gisbergen's not going to aggressively cover it off. He is going to edge him over, though, to the middle of the racetrack, almost bang indoors into the braking zone. Van Gisbergen going to cross over onto the back bumper. Now he's going to end up on the outside. 12 minutes to go at Mount Panorama. And it is an all-out scrap for the lead of this race. Side by side, down Mountain Straight. Over the crest, down the hill, into the braking zone. Into Griffin's Bend. There is no grip on the outside. Can't go up around the outside there. Sabo reclaims it. Now at the cutting. Van Gisbergen wants to go the long way here. Don't do it. He doesn't. Now there's no opportunity until they get back down the hill. Unless he wants to do the bravest move he's ever done.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him at this point, you know. Normally the battle is over at cutting. Like, the battle is over at cutting, and then it's gonna wait until the exit of Forest Elbow. But watching these guys, watching SVG in the second place, watching Antal Rafael Sabo in the lead, it makes you second guess. You know, it does make you wonder. And we have all the makings of an epic Bathurst battle here. And Sabo still continues to lead, which amazes me, because the pace difference aside, you know, I would have thought Shane would have clinched it the first or second time around. But
he
kudos to Sabo.
Into Forest Elbow, he pinched the left front. It compromised his exit just a little bit. He's going to force Van Gisbergen to the inside of the kink, to the outside of the chase once again. Just like they did the 2 laps ago. Now they touch. And how have they not ended up in the grass? Sabo had to brake very late. How on earth was that not a collision and a crash as they touched with maximum load on the cars as they came through the kink? It is just like last lap. This time Van Gisbergen balks the entry, trying to cover off Sabo's crossover. He did it successfully. Sabo's still close enough to throw it up the inside at turn 1. And Van Gisbergen covers that off. Look for the exit. Sabo gets it. Here we go again. 10 minutes to go. So often, Despite even being 161 laps, the 1000 comes down to duels in the final closing stages. And after 1 hour, the same thing is happening today. Into turn 2. On the outside, Sabo cops a whack. He almost catches the fence. Van Gisbergen's gone through. This time he's done it. And turn 2, as it has before, is the deal breaker. This time for Sabo, the outside has nothing at Griffin's Bend.
Yeah, I mean, there was touch, there was contact, and finally, as VG made his way through, so I wonder, is he gonna give that position back potentially? Because he's not going very fast up the hill. I mean, no, but look at Sabo. He's staying right with him, and it does look a bit easy, so I wonder, is SVG feeling a little bit bad about ending it that way, about giving that contact? Normally body contact is, in racing it does happen. But these guys, they haven't crashed and burned. They will ride and they will fly, and they are making themselves into legend. And look at him, just flashing his brake lights a little bit, yeah. Oh no, he's gonna defend that, maybe. Yeah, he is.
Oh, squeezy, forces himself to the inside. He made that gap, and he took it. And Sabo's coming back on Van Gisbergen. Here we go. On the brake, Sabo takes it. Van Gisbergen for the crossover. Not going to get there for the inside at Murray's. Going to be 9 minutes to go when we grab the line this time. As they battle, Andrew Waite starts to close massively as well. That was a superb exit from Van Gisbergen. There's Waite in the background. Could become a 3-car fight if they keep this up for too much longer. This is by far and away one of the greatest battles I have seen in sim racing. The respect is as big as you'll ever see. The aggression is at the perfect amount. It's not too aggressive, but they are going all out as again through turn 2. This time Sabo holds on. He's kept the overlap. That is fantastic. Now through the cutting, he says, you know what? No way. I am not throwing my car up the inside of the cutting. I'm going to sit back and wait. Try to stick with him across the top of the mountain. And we'll do it all again next time by.
So often in these kind of battles, you kind of start to, respect each other the more the battle goes on. They have been racing for half a season, but not often against each other per se, as VG and Sabo. But this time they have found each other on the racetrack on the final race of the season, and it's dying minutes. And, you're learning things about, but I think both of them realized, hey, we can race side by side. Both of them have just enough respect, and we will fight for this race win. But once you grow that respect, you also don't want to end it up in a bad move. And, such a great battle, it would be a shame if it would end in tears with one of them pushing each other on the wall or something. I'm sure both of them want to do their best to make sure that doesn't happen. As here they go again, Ryan. Sabo gonna throw it up and gonna sell a feint almost, and gonna force SVG to defend down the inside to the chase. Sabo's gonna be on the outside, and he lost the rear just a little bit. Still quite close though, still quite close.
He got the run very late in the piece that time. Tried to sell the dummy. Didn't quite execute it. And then that little slide as he tried to cut back compromised his exit. Van Gisbergen, I think, had a 4-wheel slide going on at Murray's corner there. That slowed him up. Sabo looks to the inside. Van Gisbergen drives it in deep to defend. That means that Sabo gets the exit. 1.5 seconds back to wait. He is coming. He's going to be there. Gene Rollinson exits pit lane. About to see his championship rival and his championship go down the drain. Side by side. Towards turn 2. Rollinson's going to have to get out of the way of these guys in a minute. Van Gisbergen does a good job on the brakes there to just edge past Sabo once again. And now covers off for the cutting.
Yeah, so SVG covering that one off. Gene Rollinson in an unfortunate situation where he's going to have to avoid these. He's going to get blue flags, and he's in the championship hunt. But he's still going to get those blue flags as the leaders whiz by. I'm sure Sabo wants to give him a wave and a hello as he gets past. And look, this is no longer a 2-man fight. Who's that on the background in the other minion car? That's Andrew Waite. And he is waiting no longer as they get to the last minutes. We have 6 minutes to go. And now player 3 has entered the game.
The bad news for Sabo, he is sandwiched now between two Most Medium Motorsports cars. Every cutback he goes for is an opportunity for Waite to throw it up the inside of him. He's got to get by him now. Out the forest elbow, Van Gisbergen was on the defense. On the entry, the exit's there for Sabo. Which lane does Van Gisbergen want? He drives it down the middle of the racetrack. And Sabo going to go up the inside. Into the kink. Into the right-hander. Almost cleared him. Almost could have moved across in front. Decided against it. Van Gisbergen sails off into the chase in the braking zone.
Oh, and they touch heading into the last corner.
Once and twice more. Again, they get away with it.
And Sabo two-wheeling it up the inside and getting past Antal Rough Sabo.
Wait, almost threw it up the inside of Sabo there and got involved. It is 0.6 of a second across your top three at the line. 4 minutes to go in the season. The BMW Race Driver E-Series is concluding in the most dramatic of styles here at Bathurst. Once again towards Griffin's Bend we go, on board with Waite as they run side by side in front of him. Sabo has to turn in before Waite gets to his inside. He's got a slight overlap here, but he's not going to carry on with it. No one's been willing to go side by side into the cutting, and Gene Rollinson has run away. Douglas Bickley, though, is that laps car in front, going to get right out of the way as they head up towards Reed Park.
A good job by Douglas Bickley there, getting out of the way, identifying the situation, and also finding a good place to, predictably do so. Not just slowing down in front of the leaders, instead getting right out of the way, and he's going to get a prime time seat into this battle for a while. Well, actually not, he dropped too far back, and they got Gene Rollinson next up the road. But SVG, Sabo, Waite, it's anyone's game at this point in time. SVG is looking strong, but Sabo, he's also got a couple of tricks up his sleeve, and he's been right there with his laps all day long. Well, not all day long, but all battle long. SVG, once again having to defend down to the chase, I think.
Remember, Van Gisbergen had a comfortable margin, then he took tyres on pit road. This is the consequence of that decision. He's under a lot of fire from Sabo, who goes whack into his rear bumper. Defensive again. A cutback. It doesn't work. Andrew Waite trying to become involved. 3 minutes to go. 2 laps left at Bathurst. Look at this squeeze. Oh no, there's contact and Sabo spins. Andrew Waite gets in the battle and turns Sabo around. And that is not the ending that we wanted to see, and that is just disappointing. Sabo going for the cutback he'd done so many times before. This time Waite was there, didn't see it coming.
Yeah, and that can happen so easily. Take a look at it as he comes here to the outside of SVG. Gonna think, okay, I'm just gonna go for the cutback onto the main straight. Gonna run side by side once again. But I mean, Waite did nothing wrong there. He was just, on the inside here, and probably thinking, Sabo's gonna go around the outside, taking the outside line in the corner. Sabo was thinking cutback. And sure, you could have maybe predicted that somehow, knowing Sabo has done it so many times, but that's just a racing deal and a racing incident, but a very unfortunate end to that particular battle. But the battle for the lead is far from over yet.
Could almost sense that might happen. I called it out when Waite started to approach that Sabo's going to have to get this done, because every time he goes for a cutback, Waite's going to be there. Waite would have known he's probably going to go for the cutback, but he was hoping as he put his car there that he wouldn't be able to do it, wouldn't turn in, and he'd be able to sneak by. Unfortunately, they've touched. But with a lap and a half remaining, it's still on between Van Gisbergen and Andrew Waite here. The Most Medium Motorsport team cars. 8 seconds clear now of Sabo. Will they do battle on the closing lap of this race? Certainly, if I was Andrew Waite, I'd be wanting to take this one away from Van Gisbergen. I'd be wanting to prove to Sabo, at least the guy that turned you up, won the race. I'd be less annoyed by it if he finished first as opposed to second if I was Sabo. But here we come into Murray's corner. They're going to come through the last corner. They're going to see the 1 to go signal. There's one more lap 6.2 kilometers. It's 2/10 the margin. Weight versus Van Gisbergen now. Into turn 1. He decides no. What about Mountain Straight? Is it a good exit? It's not the greatest.
Not the best, but he's still got a chance here underweight. Gonna maybe throw it down the inside late. No, Asvici is gonna throw him off that one. He's gonna look to the outside there. You know, cut back, fine. You're not gonna give me the inside. I'm gonna ruin your entry. But Asvici chopping him off just nice. And that means it's gonna come down to the chase. And as a fine poet called H.P. Baxter once said, the chase is better than the catch. But this time, I do wonder.
I don't think Waite's got quite the outright pace that Sabo had. He's got to really push this car to its absolute maximum across the top to stay within reaching distance of Van Gisbergen. Needs to be within a range where he can get the slingshot down the back straight. Van Gisbergen towards the grass at Nick Phillippe. That's given him up a lot of time, and Waite closes. That was a critical error for Van Gisbergen. He's under a lot of pressure. He's not got this easy. He has been locked in battle, locked in combat for the last 15 minutes of this race through Forest Elbow for the last time. Look at the gap extend for Van Gisbergen. It's out to almost a second now. He should be comfortable. Should be.
Yeah, you say should be. Anything can still happen. Gene Rollinson ahead of them as well. He's gonna finish ahead of them. He's gonna do one more lap and gonna at least finish on the lead lap here in his championship bid. But yeah, Ryan, it was a good battle, but in the end, oh!
He slows up through the chase. It's gonna be a formation finish for the Musminium Motorsport machines at Mount Panorama after one of the greatest battles we've seen. It is going to be a 1-2 for Van Gisbergen and Andrew Waite. Musminium Motorsport clean up the final round of the championship. And as Van Gisbergen wins, Sabo wins the championship as he crosses the line in third. What could have been for him, but hold his head high. He's won the championship, and he put on one heck of a show.
He absolutely did, you know. He may have not won the race, but he won all our hearts. Mind you, Gene Rollinson did wait a little bit in the end to finish one lap down, so he did not have to do another lap. Here come the heroes across the line, rest of them as well. We know the top 3, Henry Thomas Kircher was 4th, Mark Gibson 5th, and we're going to get Guintini across the line as well, Matthew Guintini in 6th place as well. And a total of 9 drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, and we'll get those full results in a minute. We're going to go to a quick break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Stay with us, looking at our full results after this, and hopefully some interviews as well to wrap things up. Welcome back to the Global SimRacing Channel. Wrapping up what really was a thrilling conclusion to our BMW Race Driver Eseries second season. These are your full results at the end of an hour at Bathurst. A winning margin slightly convoluted by a 1-2 formation finish for the Most Beauty Motorsports cars. Van Gisbergen wins, Andrew Waite second, Sabo third, 1.5 seconds adrift. And, well, he should have been even closer than that, really. But he wins the championship with that result. Kircher finishes fourth, ahead of Mark Gibson in fifth. Giantini picks up P6, Taylor Coppin P7. Matthew Griffin is eighth. Cam Cairns is ninth, last car on the lead lap. Gene Rollinson comes home in 10th. He will not go back-to-back championships.
No, he will not. Aaron Guintini gonna finish 11th, one lap down. Jonathan Shapley as well, 12th place. Joshua Andrew 13th. Royce Rollinson 14th. Mind you, all these guys still finishing at Bathurst. Douglas Bickley 3 laps down, 15th. Stephen Barker 16th. Stephen Barker, Todd Gibson, Nicholas Lowndes, and Paul Blomqvist classified as out of this event. Surprisingly few casualties here at Bathurst.
Yeah.
But we had still a very interesting race. And a very interesting man that you're going to talk to next, Ryan.
Yeah, I think Farsha is playing a big part in not eliminating quite a few drivers, but Ansel Raphael Sabo, congratulations, first of all. You've picked up a podium at Bathurst, and with that, seal the championship deal.
Yeah, it's a crazy night. And it's been a crazy weekend for me, winning in real life in the Sanyong Ute Series in real life as well for my first outing and my first racing outing ever. For real, and clinching this now, just kind of cherry on top, really.
Yeah, that is a fantastic weekend for you. I mean, we got to talk about that battle, don't we? At the end with Van Gisbergen.
That was great.
That was one of the greatest we've seen. That was incredible. What was it like from your perspective in that battle? I mean, were you ever worried about the championship, or just you got to win at Bathurst?
I was keeping an eye on the standings where Gene was, but at the time he was kind of just well down the order, so I just kind of realized where I was really, and in the battle itself, I was just basically it sounds simple, but all I was doing was just kind of predicting where Shane was going to end up on the track after every corner, so I was just try to get a run, get a good run on him and get side by side, maybe into the next corner, make another move or let go and both take away from second place, but unfortunately Andrew caught us up, which caused the three-way battle, and I just got tapped in the last corner, which spun me around a little bit.
It's great racecraft. If you can keep that up in the Sanyong Utes, you've gone for a stellar season if you have a crack at that. With that contact, do you have any thoughts on it? I mean, it was just looked like hard racing. You went for the same spot on the road that he did, I think, pretty much going for the crossover.
Yeah, I was just kind of going for the same move me and Shane. I was doing on Shane the following laps before, so yeah. I was just kind of doing the same move, and then Andrew just happened to be there. I'm not sure if he knew what I was doing exactly, or if he thought I ran wide or what have you. But I guess it's just a simple misjudgment. So not 50-50, I guess, in my view. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, the result's there in the end, so that's all I'm happy for.
Championship win. Feels good in a very stacked quality field, and definitely making a name for yourself against one of the best in the business. Are there any sponsors that you want to give a shout out to and people you want to thank for helping get it done this season?
I just wanted to thank my real life racing team, Cream Insurance Racing, Vialex Esports for keeping by my side the whole season and cheering me on, that's for sure. The boys have been in my ear quite often, so big ups to them. Dean and Huzo, thank you very much, guys. And yeah, that's all for tonight. Thank you to the organizers and you guys for broadcasting it, and the viewers, of course, for watching.
All right, thank you very much, Anatol. That was a fantastic job all season long. Good job.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Until Raphael Sabo picks up third place today, he wins the championship with that result as well. And Cam Cairns is here, and a man that he may have taken inspiration from with his paint job. Ozian Pahaka is going to have a chat to him.
Yeah, Cam, and yeah, first of all, yes, we did notice. You're watching these races, Ken?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
So, got a bit of a retro livery here with the Batmobile, so to speak, and it looks like it brought you some luck. I mean, of course, skill too. Starting 18th here at Bathurst, gonna finish 9th and finished on the lead lap. Are you happy with your final race of the season?
I'm pretty stoked, actually. I couldn't get a clean lap in qualifying, and I just managed to stay out of trouble during the race there and just drew on some inspiration from the old man in the back. And kept it off the walls.
You did very well there. So how about the season as a whole? I mean, it was a long season, 10 races. We had a lot of sprint races, and then the final, a different sort of effort. It wasn't really a championship battle for you at the front. So how was the experience running, getting improving, probably getting some sim racing experience as well?
Yeah, so I missed the start of the series. I sort of was busy on Monday nights, and I came along with friends with a few boys here, and they said to come along. And as I got more used to the car, results started getting better, and it's a hell of a series to be involved with, and it's a lot of good fun, especially on Monday night. And I encourage anybody who's watching and who wants to get on board with it to jump on board with next season. The guys run a real tight ship, and it's really good fun to be part of.
So, what is it that you do any real life motorsport? Are you involved in real life motorsport, involved in racing, getting yourself out there on the weekends?
Yeah, so I crew on a sprint car here in Christchurch, and that's speedway season starts in 2 weeks. So we're busy in the workshop, as we speak to try and get to that first show. So yeah, that's my background is speedway.
That sounds so awesome. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds so awesome. Cam, well, anyone you would like to give a shout out to? Anyone you would like to thank after making it home on the late lap?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the organisers for putting this series together. No one really sees how much work goes in behind the scenes to get a show like this together, and the broadcast team as well. I'd also like to thank Doug and Jono and Stephen, my teammates, for dragging me along and encouraging me to be part of it, and of course, got a shout out to Concord Excavation for jumping on board as well. So yeah, thanks guys. It's been real cool to be part of it.
Thank you, Cam Cairns, and enjoy your life out there on the speedway, screwing that car. Go and get some wins.
Perfect. Thanks, mate. We'll do our best.
Cheers. And well, that was Cam Cairns in his Batmobile, finishing on the lead lap at Bathurst. And next up, we got Ryan Jones, who's going to also talk to a very interesting personality.
Yeah, Douglas Bickley, good to have you here in the booth. It was a tough old slog at Mount Panorama. It always is. You come home P15, but your season as a whole, certainly mixed it in up and amongst it quite a few times. Like a lot of fun.
Yeah, hey, thanks firstly for having me along. Yeah, interesting start to the race. For this one, I was extremely gutted. My computer crashed at the very end of the first lap. That's why I disappeared and joined back in 2 laps down. So I just my motivation for the season has strengthened a lot after having some driver training from a simulator driver and a race car driver here in Christchurch, Jaden Ransley, and he just said, keep cool, races are long, other mistakes happen, you don't get points if you don't finish.
I could go with that advice, actually. Yeah, Jaden, we've seen a few times in other series, does a pretty decent job when he's out there on the racetrack. Your season as a whole, are you happy with it? You mentioned your motivation increasing across it. Happy with how it's gone for you? Showed some decent pace at times.
Yeah, exceptionally happy with the season as a whole. I've had some great battles with my teammates, Jono, Steve, and Cam. We've always seemed, and you probably guys noticed as well, we've tended to lock out particular areas on the grids and had great battles amongst ourselves. No, very happy with the results. I think the points table definitely reflect that if you get to each race, you can finish within the top 10. I may have just dropped out of it on the total points scale, but I think Jono and Cam might be up somewhere close to that as well. So well done to them.
Certainly did a good job to get there at the end of this race and soldiered on after that early issue. Who do you want to thank, sponsors-wise and people-wise, for getting it done for you?
Yeah, so first and foremost, a big shout out to the guys who organised the BMW Series. It's a lot of work involved for them behind the scenes. I don't think people sort of give much credit to what's going on, and I know I've hounded them a couple of times myself to get updates on points to see who's sort of in front of behind, so I know who to push for in the next racing. And other than my friends I just mentioned before, big shout out to my stepfather and sponsor on the side of the car for the season, Rep for You Agency Sales. Mel.
All right. Hey, well, thank you very much, Douglas. Good job. Hopefully, we see you again sometime soon on GSRC, and see you next time, eh?
You will. Thanks very much, guys. You guys have done a great job.
Cheers, mate. So that's Douglas Bickley at the end of this season. Just misses out in the top 10 potentially, but still a good job from him. We'll also grab Matthew Giantini, and Ozzy will have a chat.
Yeah, hello, Matthew. A8M Racing, we've seen the AM of A8M Racing all season long here, but you also had the A for the final round at Bathurst. So Matthew Gintini, 9th starting place, 6th across the line. How was it out there for you?
Oh, could have been better, but it wasn't too bad. A couple of little things here and there. I know I made a bit of an incident, I think, coming into the cut in there, but I think it was pretty decent afterwards from there. So kept it clean, which was the main part I was kind of looking forward to. But yeah, I was pretty happy to have Aaron here tonight too. He only got iRacing a couple of weeks ago, so that was a pretty good effort from him too.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely. You don't often finish 11th at Bathurst in your debut race of a season, pretty much. So, Matthew, how about Bathurst in general? It was a bit of a different race. We had a couple of sprint races all season long, race 1, race 2. Now we had a bit of a different format, 1 hour race with a pit stop. How did it feel for you?
It was definitely different. I mean, it comes into strategy of pitting as well. I mean, I pitted because of damage, but even still, with the shorter races, you don't have to worry about it as much. So it's a bit more of a sprint race, where this one here is obviously a little bit more endurance, but it's obviously still only an hour long. So it's obviously a different race altogether from the whole season that we've been doing. So it's a good change.
Yeah, it is. So speaking of the season, you were solid in the top 5 at one point in the championship standings. So, as an overall, how happy are you with your drives across these 10 races?
Oh, stoked. Apart from missing out from last week, but that was due to the daylight savings. But I think every week we've been pretty good. I mean, we've had a couple of average ones, as you do, but I was very happy to see me in 5th there at one point.
Yeah, let's hope we see you do even better in the future. Okay, Matthew, thank you very much for the interview. And if you have any shout-outs, anything you want to say, then feel free to do so.
Nah, all good, mate. Thanks for everyone for putting it on. I mean, you guys are doing great, put the streaming on, and everyone organising all the events. It couldn't be better. So thanks, everyone. Thanks to Aaron to join us tonight too. So thanks, guys.
Hey, no worries. Thank you, Matthew, for the interview, and congratulations for a great season.
Cheers, guys.
All right, that was Matthew Gintini. And Ryan, I'll give the mic to you.
Yeah, I think that'll bring us to the end of our coverage of Season 2 of the BMW Race Driver E-Series, and what a way to wrap it up. At Map Panorama with the best battle we've seen all season long between Van Gisbergen and Nassau, Rafael Sabo, and Andrew Waite getting in there as well right at the end. None of it possible without Express Hydraulics and Griffin Excavations. Their support over the course of the season has been phenomenal. And of course, everyone over at BMW Race Driver E-Series who helped put this together, and the companies that provide all the software and hardware for our broadcasts listed here on your screen, along with Unilond, who provides all of our music. You can see their contact details up there and how you can get a hold of them. Of course, big thanks to Joe and Ozzy with me today and over the course of the season. You can find out more about GSRC, including our upcoming races at globalsimracingchannel.com or at GSR Channel on Twitter, GSRC_Graham on Instagram, and Global SimRacing Channel on Facebook. Don't forget to hit subscribe to us on YouTube as well, and help us get us to 11,000. We're not that far away from it. Other upcoming races are listed on your screen as well, so make sure to check them out and mark them down. But for tonight, from all of us here in the booth, thanks for joining us. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.